got some comments already and I missed it. KP1 says, are you freezing? Oh, yes, we are. Matt Farm says hello and happy holidays. Hey, Krista, thanks for joining us. 50 in Central Florida. That's pretty cool for you guys. We lived in Hollywood, Florida for about 8 years for me and about 15 for Doc, and 32 like once a year was insane. So, alrighty. Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining me. I'm just getting caught up on all your comments while I was getting situated and ready here. I am Mary from Mary's Heirloom Seeds, and I go live here every Thursday at 5 p.m. Central Time. And today is super, super exciting for me. I love pollinators. I love talking about pollinators. So there's so much information that I want to share with you. And I apologize for any commercials that you might see. I have zero control over whether YouTube allows or puts commercials in there. So I apologize. Jenny says hello from Orlando. Well, hello everyone from Ben Wheeler, Texas. So for those of you just joining me for the first time, welcome. For those of you joining me on a regular basis, welcome back. I see some very familiar faces here in the comments. So I'm super excited that you've all joined me. During the holidays, it gets a little crazy. Everybody's schedule goes nuts, and last Thursday was mine and Doc's anniversary, and we celebrated winter solstice. Yes, we got married on winter solstice. I love that as a date, as a reminder. It is there. Okay, totally veering off subject. A lot of people didn't realize that summer solstice, hey, Agape Field, summer solstice isn't like a religious or a pagan holiday. It's just the way, thanks, Krista, it's the way the sun and the moon are working together, and it's the shortest day of sunlight and the longest darkness of night. And it signals the turning of the tides, pretty much, that not technical tides, but you know what I'm talking about. It signals that light is coming. More light is coming. It's kind of a changing of the seasons. It's really awesome to me. I love it. So anyway, little history lesson, little whatever you call it lesson for the outside garden. Winter solstice came and went. Christmas came and went. It was winter, not summer. No, it was a winter solstice. So December 21st is the winter solstice. And we discussed that on my Facebook page. It's the shortest day of light and the longest day of darkness. And then from there, we go longer days, essentially, longer light days. So definitely winter solstice, December 21st, most years, not summer. So I love summer, but I also, winter has a special thing for me. So let's get down to the meat and potatoes. Hey, Denise, thanks for joining us. You said summer. I'm sorry. It's okay. So for those of you who don't know, it's been a crazy week for me. So thank you very much. December 21st, we're starting to get 1 minute a day of sunlight, where in summer on June 21st, we lose a minute of day. So right. Winter solstice. Sorry about that. If I said summer, sorry. Meat and potatoes of our video today is Plant for Pollinators. January is Plant for Pollinators month at Mary's Heirloom Seeds. It's probably not Plant for Pollinators month anywhere else, but I have a special month for us in January. And I've had a lot of people ask me, why would you do a Plant for Pollinators month in January when most people, it's winter time. It's not time to plant necessarily, unless you're in Florida, which I know you Floridians have some amazing weather during this time. It's cold, but it's a good time to plant. Having lived in Florida, it's a lot different than most of the country. But planting for pollinators requires a little bit of planning. So if you're like me and you live in a cooler climate now, Ben Wheeler, Texas, we've had some frost on the ground. It's been, I think it was 30, maybe 31 at the coldest part of the day. cold night, morning, whatever you want to call it. So it's cold, and what is growing out in my garden right now is not requiring pollinators. We've got lettuce, kohlrabi, beets, what else? Collards, radish. There's a lot of onions, squash, onions and squash. Sorry. If you knew the weekend I had, I couldn't even figure out the 8-hour schedule on dosing our cat until I actually figured it out. So sorry about that. Hey, Shirley. So onions and garlic, not squash. I don't know where I got that from. So the reason I do January as Plant for Pollinators month is, if you're like me, you use January, which is the colder months where you're not out there planting seeds every day. You use that as a time to plan your garden. Some of us plan, some of us wing it. I am in the right in the middle stage. I plan ahead and I also wing it. So it's totally fine, whatever your schedule is like, or whatever your planting type is. We discussed this. Inga and I were talking about, I don't know if you know Inga, she's on my live chat every now and then, but I think she became a grandma today, so she's a little preoccupied. But I said I'm a semi-feral gardener, or in my case, a mostly feral gardener. I kind of just wing it sometimes in different portions of the garden, but some of it is very well planned out. So it just depends on kind of what I'm looking at. Judy says, hi, Mary from rainy New England. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you as well. So some of my gardens are planned out to the T. Literally from planting to harvest, everything is planned out. And some of my personal garden, not my seed garden, is winging it. But right now we want to plant for pollinators. So let's get into our January topic, which is plant for pollinators. During this month, I will be sending out multiple emails, probably once a week. So 4 emails specifically about planting for pollinators. Each of the emails is going to include specific varieties that you can plant for pollinators. Hey, who's there? Thanks for joining us. We're going to talk about reasons to plant for pollinators. If nothing else, if you're not interested in saving the bees, saving the butterflies, saving the pollinators, the other side of that is planting for pollinators can increase crop production. So you can look at all of the different factors and go, well, let's start planting more seeds for pollinators. So that's where this comes in. World Bee Day, just a couple facts here. World Bee Day is May 20th. Kind of exciting, right? June is National Pollinators Month. Also exciting. But if you want to celebrate National Pollinator Month in June, you're going to have to plant your seeds in spring or early spring. So that's one of the things that is the reason why I do January as Plant for Pollinators Month instead of June. Because there's that saying, it says the time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, but the next opportunity is now. So if you plan ahead, you can have some beautiful pollinators early in your garden that will help bring them to your garden and then also help grow more. Who's there says my lemon tree has blossoms on them and I have a hexagon home for bees. Awesome, very cool. So I mentioned when I posted this video that I would be sharing more information about pollinators. In the description section of this video, you will find a link to my comprehensive planting guide. You'll find a link to sign up for my emails. I mentioned earlier, I'm going to be sending out emails. We don't sell your information. We don't share your information with anybody else. It is only used to send out beneficial information for growing heirloom seeds. So we will also have a giveaway. I have a giveaway every month. In October, I think we had 2. In November, we had 1. December, we had 1. So there's a giveaway every month at Mary's Heirloom Seeds. So I will be sharing a giveaway in January. Let's see. KP1 says, I have bees now after my snow peas, but I need help with marigolds. Marigolds I can help you with. So if you use the sign up, if you haven't signed up for my emails, sign up now, and I will resend out the email that has my comprehensive planting guide in it. It's been updated, and there's some information about how to grow marigolds from seed. You got calendula here. I grew these in my backyard, and I just had to take a picture and frame it because it's awesome. Agape Field says, do you plant pollinators on the perimeter of your garden or throughout the garden mixed in with food crops? Both. So I have the front portion of my property that I call the front forest. There's trees, it's heavily shaded, and there's I don't know what you call it depending on where you are. I call it a swale, and it's the city strip. I don't ever plant pollinators on the city strip. We're not a city, we're in a town. But the county comes through and mows it down to keep the brush low. I don't ever plant my pollinators in that low brush area because I know for a fact that they're going to come through and they're going to just mow the whole thing down. So within my property line at the fence, in my front field or my front forest, I use a multi-mix. I use the butterfly garden mix or the pollinator mix, and we've got those in bulk that you can look at and you can purchase those. And I literally fling them out there and they grow. But then at the same time, I use companion planting, and for that I use things like borage, marigold, nasturtiums, lacy phacelia, and I use those within my garden to bring pollinators in as well. Taller varieties like sunflowers go on the outside of my garden. A couple reasons. Sunflower can, not always, I can't speak for every single buddy, but I have noticed, and a friend of mine noticed as well, that sunflowers can secrete a chemical, natural, but it's like acts like a chemical that can hinder the growth of other plants. So sunflower is one of those that I plant outside of the regular garden beds to encourage pollinators to come to the garden, but not discourage growth in my plants. So something to think about there. Also, sunflower is really good for soil remediation. If you don't know what soil remediation is, I will discuss that at a later time in a follow-up video. Again, we're talking about plant for pollinators for the entire month of January. So you guys get stuck with me next Thursday talking about pollinators once again. And I'll talk about sunflowers next week, specifically a little bit of soil remediation as well, and also why pollinators are so important. So starting December 31st, every single order that comes through will include a lot of great information. Hey there, Matt Farm says, this is our first year with bees on our 5-acre farm, have lots of clovers, asters, goldenrods, awesome. And Krista says last year, a huge sunflower just, what does it say, just showed up in my container beds. And then one day something came and ate it. It was probably a squirrel or a rabbit. Krista, I think you're kind of close to my area, and squirrels and rabbits are crazy. Moon Bladen says, I live in Utah. My garlic has already popped up. Should I be worried? Nope. We get cold here. Maybe not as much snow as you get, but at the same time, as long as you mulch your garlic well, you'll be just fine. Totally not a problem. What I get when I first tried to sign up, not the first time, got a reject, trying to email, oops, something went wrong. So if you so you can send me an email if you have any questions. My email is mary@marysheirloomseeds.com, and I will follow up with you in an email, probably 24, maybe 48 hours, again, depending on what's going on. We had a minor crisis over Christmas. I call it a minor now, but our 2-year-old male of the 2 tiny terrors was in the hospital for 36 hours, which scared the you-know-what out of me. So I was unavailable for 36 hours. I was a mess. So that's why I ask you sometimes, just give me 48 hours. Like sometimes you really don't want to hear from me during that kind of time. Yeah, Bladen, you're fine. I'm sorry, I'm reading this wrong. Moon Bladem. As long as your garlic is mulched really well, you should be just fine. So if you have questions, if you try to sign up but it didn't let you sign up, send me an email to mary@marysheirloomseeds.com and I will answer you hopefully within 24 hours. Sometimes I'm at my computer and I respond immediately. So it really just depends on what's going on. I'm human and I do try as hard as I can to be on top of it, but sometimes life happens, Sorry. All right, so let's get into what we're going to discuss, what we're going to share with you when we deal with the, plant for pollinators. You have, dropping free seeds on the ground here. Try not to run that one over. If you order between December 31st and the last day of January, 31 days in January, had to think about that one, you will receive a lot of great information. On the front page, you have the benefits of adding pollinators to your garden. And on the back side, you have seed starting information for pollinators. You probably can't see that. It's totally fine. If you want me to send this to you in an attachment, you can always request it, but this information will be included for free with your orders. And I have to say, I'm really excited about my postcard this year. Did you know we send postcards? About 3 to 4 times a year, I send out a postcard with your orders. And most of the time, I take it back. Every time, I send out a free seed that corresponds to our postcard. These are printed here locally, and it's actually a group effort. So I took the images, my sister made a collage, and our local print shop made these for me. So it really was a group effort. And this is one I'm super excited about. And it is zinnias. If you have ever grown zinnias, you know that they bring the pollinators to your yard. I have a really silly video about the borage brings all the bees to the yard, and it was kind of a funny play on whatever else. Who's there says, loves your postcards. Thank you, I appreciate it. Now this one is zinnias. You can see you've got the bumblebee here, and you have the butterfly here. They are amazing. But on the back side, actually my printer said, have you ever thought about making this a poster? Because the images are so vibrant, which I thought was really exciting. It really is vibrant, and you don't really see it. Now on the back side explains how to grow zinnias, why we plant zinnias for pollinators, and then some information specifically about how they make great cut flowers. So you got instructions on how to grow, why we grow, a fun postcard with some information specifically about zinnias. But probably the most exciting part about this is the free seeds. In January, I will be including 2 free seed packs this month. Last year, we only included 1, and that was specifically for pollinators. Mom, don't make me cry. So my mom is Denise Porter, and she just said zinnias were my Grandpa Gary's favorite flower, and we shared a very similar birthday. Mine is September 11th, and his was September 12th. So kind of cool and interesting. Fun fact I learned later on in my life about family. Hey Mom, thanks for sharing. I love zinnias. Judy says, can I use sunflowers to fix the problem from the road salt in my front yard? Judy, that is an excellent question. I would love to find out specific information for you and give you that information in an email. If you can, who's there says, hello, Mary's mom. Hey, Monica, thanks for joining us. Speaking of our Florida customers and friends, Judy, if you will send me an email and ask me that question so that just in case I forget and I don't share that and I don't get to that information, I don't want to lose that. Most likely, yes. What you do specifically, I'll talk about it next week, but specifically for soil remediation, you plant your sunflowers seeds, you allow them to grow, and instead of taking those stalks and composting them, you will throw them away because the roots of the sunflower, totally thrown off now. Love you, Mom. Thanks for sharing that. I'm really glad I chose zinnias this year. The roots of the sunflower will suck up that whatever it is, whether it's a chemical spill or some sort of not so great, brain's fried. Whatever is not good in your soil, those sunflowers will remove it from your soil. And I'm not talking about 100% of it, but it is very helpful. They will remove some of those toxins in your soil. You take not just the stalk contaminants. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Not just the stalk, but you take that roots as well from the soil and you throw it in the garbage. Do not compost it. Do not pass go, do not collect 200 kind of thing. Chuck it in the garbage. And now you have hopefully less contaminated soil. But from there, you can't just go, okay, I'm going to go ahead and plant my stuff. I'm going to plant my tomatoes, my beans, my peppers. From there, you want to plant a cover crop that will help you. Who's there says sunflowers were planted at Chernobyl. Exactly. And I'm going to get to that next week. I got a little sidetracked on the zinnia, sunflowers, everything else. By the way, thank you all for joining me for my Plant for Pollinators intro. I'm kind of veering off into next week as well. Hit the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel as well. So a lot of great information here tonight. Planting for pollinators, not just to attract pollinators to your garden, but also to help heal your soil. And healthy soil is so important. Matt Farm says toxic cleanup sunflowers. Who knew? I actually have a customer who reached out to me in Ohio. I'm pretty sure it was Ohio, where they had a toxic spill. They had a very small town and everybody was frantic and freaking out about not being able to have anything available to them food-wise because they produce their own food. So I sent out about 12 pounds of sunflower seeds to her. She asked for a donation and I said, well, instead of sending you out a couple packs, I'll give you everything I can fit into a box. And I did that, and I'm hoping that reached out to them and they were able to help. She said she would spread those out to her local farmers and see what they could do as well. So we went from planting for pollinators to soil remediation, and now we're going to go back again. Now we're going to talk about, thanks KP1, I appreciate it. Now we're going to talk about the freebies. So we mentioned the handout I'm going to give. I have a giant box. Becoming a green stalker, thanks for joining us. Got a giant box of paperwork. It's front and back. I'm trying to cut down on the amount of waste we use, and hopefully with this postcard, you can pop it on your refrigerator. Not only is it beautiful on the front, it's informational on the back. You can give it to somebody, you can send it to somebody, I don't mind. You can share it with whoever you want. But we're also going to give out free seeds. Last year, I just gave out 1 free seed pack, but this year we're going to give 2. And I'm also going to see about, I have stickers as well, so those are going to go out as well. I don't have matching stickers, but I figure you guys don't mind if you get 2 free seed packs, right? So you have 2 free seed packs. First is the freebie seeds. These are kind of fun. And this is the Zinnia mix. This is a Zinnia Lilliput mix. If you look at this, about half of these are the Zinnia mix. I literally took a handful and just tossed them around our driveway, and it was the most beautiful sight. This butterfly you see on the big one, that was just chilling outside of my front driveway, and I just had to take a picture. There were so many. I had like 4,000 pictures on my phone, and half of them are butterflies and bees. So this is a fantastic one. Becoming a Green Stalker says, the information you send with your seeds is awesome. No one else takes the time. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. It's really not easy taking the time to share the information, but helping educate is super important. Growing at Home says, could the flowers for pollination also help clean up soil from cat poo? Now, that is a good question, and I don't know. I do not use dog or cat poo in my compost. There are some controversial, questions about whether the diseases that may be present in their poo would infect your soil or your compost. But I will check that information out and I will share that with you. Just send me an email to mary@marysheirloomseeds.com and I will give you way more information, probably more information than you needed, but I'm going to do that anyway. So, in the entire month of January, this starts December 31st. But since you're watching me live, if you place an order between now and then and you use just comment Plant for Pollinators Month in the description, not in the description, in the special instructions section of your order, I'll go ahead and send you the stuff in for anyway. I have it all printed out. I like to be prepared, hence talking about pollinators in January. So you're going to get 2 free seed packs in January with all this awesomeness. Kathy says, I have a great picture of a bee sleeping on a blossom of my sweet Georgia squash yesterday. Send it to me. And if you don't mind, I'll share it with everybody else on our social media pages. Everybody loves all the information. Agape Field says, I'm excited about January freebies. They will be a birthday present for me as my birthday is the 6th. Well, happy early birthday. And like I said, if you want to place an order early, just place the order and in the special instructions box, just share with me that you watched the video and you want the extras for Plant for Pollinators Month, and I will share all this information with you. So the second is, one of my favorites is yellow pear tomato. You might be thinking, with 850 varieties, almost 900, why would you pick yellow pear? And I will have to say that yellow pear tomato is by far one of my favorite easy to grow varieties. Someone actually told me that it was invasive. It's such a serious word, being invasive. I will say this, it's not invasive, but it can reseed very easily. I have several pictures of a literal bowl. Oh, PK1s, it's your birthday tomorrow. Happy birthday. I have pictures of a literal bowl, multiple bowls of free food, free yellow pear tomatoes, because just one yellow pear or several yellow pears dropped down on the ground and reseeded itself. And the next season I had multiple plants with free food. Free food is awesome. I will have to say that if you can grow your own food from seed and you can either save those seeds or allow them to reseed, you are doing great. I mean, it's free food. So with these zinnias, what I did was I let them grow. And then when you see these here, like on the top here, these will get super brown and they don't look very pretty. And they say that you want to deadhead your flowers to encourage more flowers. But at the end of the season, I waited for those to turn extra brown and ugly looking. And I pulled those out and I literally between my hands just went and let the seeds fall. Because next season I will have a forest of free zinnias just from those plants that I harvested. So just something to keep in mind. They're not invasive. They're just awesome seeds growing more awesome free food. Alrighty, everybody. Janine says, I have a lemon tree that I grew from seed and it's not blossoming. What am I doing? I know a lot less about citrus than I do about heirloom seeds. But my friend, Pepe's Plants, if you reach out to him in South Florida, he will be able to help you. I do know that lemon trees take several years to grow. They may not blossom right away. It may take 6 or 7 or 8 years to actually bloom from seed. So it just depends. And I'm not knowing the background of your lemon tree, I don't really know. But someone who is amazing with citrus is Jason at Pepe's Plants. You can reach out to him on Facebook. So that is it for me. It is Thursday for our live chat on Facebook. Thank you for joining me and thank you for putting up with my Little weird brain farts today. It's been a really crazy week. For those of you not on my personal page, you might have not seen the craziness, but we won't go there. If you have questions, please send an email to mary@marysheirloomseeds.com and I will answer. Our Meyer lemon tree said it takes 3. There you go. And Agape Field says citrus doesn't always come true from seed. And that is also absolutely true. So much information for you guys today. Please hit the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. If you haven't already and you want all of this information in an email, in the description section of this video, you can sign up for my email. KB1 says, Happy New Year, Mary. Happy New Year, all of you. I am so excited for 2024. It was an awesome year for 2023. It has its ups and downs, but that's totally fine. 2024 is going to be another year, not for failures, but for learning in the garden. Anything that doesn't necessarily work right, I see as a chance to learn and improve and update for next year. Oh, that's fine. Moonblade, I see it. It's okay. So join me again next Thursday at 5 p.m. Central Time, and we'll go over even more information about Pollinator Month and get some free seeds. Check it out. Send me an email if you want extra stuff in your next order, and I'll make it happen. Thanks for joining me, everybody, and happy planting.